All right, let's do it. 3, 2, 1, boom.
25-year-old Bonnie Blue from Derbyshire is making headlines around the world for filming herself having sex with teenagers and posting the footage online.
I'm sorry, what? Is she in jail?
I am too old for this. Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. And as per usual, before we launch in, today's video is sponsored by Incogni. And of course by me and my company, Lions D Exchange. I am in fact drinking my own peppermint white chocolate tea, and I have no regrets. As you all know, this is by far one of my favorite teas, and you can try it too, along with the apple cider rooibos or really any of my signature flavors. I've had so much wonderful feedback about these winter blends, which are almost all gone, just by the way, so now I hope that I can wow you all with the new spring blends that I'm starting to put together. Ooh. This video will likely be demonetized, so if you love tea or you just want to give it a try, buying a box obviously helps the channel a lot. But of course, no pressure.
Excuse me? I turned off my Are you kidding me? I turned off my VPN!
25-year-old.
Bro, I turned it off. Whatever. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Yeah, no, I turned it off. I don't know what happened.
Pressure, links will be in the description box. Now, those of you who've been here for any length of time probably already know how much I don't like the platform OF. And if you don't know what that is, well, good for you. But if you do want to find out, I would suggest Googling it. Because if I say the word only wind-blowing implement, then YouTube will probably demonetize or even age restrict this video. And I don't particularly want that, so I'm going to just say OF for the purposes of this video, as well as other fun phrases that I have come across. Anyway,
yeah, we'll say only friends, chat.
Like for this platform has been very obvious since day one, and I've made a lot of content talking about how bad I think it is for society. But over the last number of months, some of the things that have crawled out of that hellscape, not to be confused with our hellscape, have disgusted even me. And honestly, that's really saying something, because I feel like I've seen everything.
But the most exciting one I did was a dad and son. I slept with the son first.
I mean, there's a lot of people that would be into that. I can't bring myself to be like, yeah, that's so cool. Wow, that is so awesome.
Most of you have probably come into contact recently with the news surrounding two OF creators. Models? I'm gonna call them models. Called Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue.
Oh, yeah, we know about this one.
Both have been popping off for different reasons, but the central theme between them, if we can connect them here, is that they've both gone beyond standard adult entertainment and entered the realm instead of insane, and some might even say immoral stunts, designed to get them more and more publicity in the fight for more audience share on OF as it gets more saturated.
I think this is a result of social media. This was not a thing like 5 years ago. Anything for views has popped off in the last year or two, and it's also saturated Twitter to an insane degree.
Sorry, that was a long sentence. Even to the point of self-harm. Some of you might think I'm being dramatic for saying that, but hold on to your trousers, because I'm about to show you some stuff that you can never ever unsee. You're welcome. During a recent segment on GB News, OF lady Bonnie Blue, whose real name is Tia Billinger, I think that's how that's pronounced, made this statement that it was her objective to have adult relations with quote-unquote barely legal teenage boys because the current sex education system is not effective.
So I was like,
okay, hold the pause. I think that the predatory, hold on, before everyone's like, oh my gosh, that's so disgusting. There are so many models that get into porn as soon as they turn 18, like girls. It's really, really fricked up, and it happens a lot. Like, again, as soon as they hit the legal mark for being over 18, legally speaking, they instantly jump on them and tell them to go do content like that, or they groom them into it. That's also very common. I think it's terrible when it happens to any child, or I should say, like, barely legal adult. It's so bad.
I want to make content that people can watch, can relate
She's a predator.
to. Also,
she is a predator, and I think it's weird when people do that. I think it's gross. I think it's not immoral because it doesn't go over the legality, but I definitely think it's gross.
Can learn. So it's when I sleep with students, or barely legal, as I've said and the media have said, it shows me discussing consent with them. It shows me saying to them, this is what I enjoy, this is what I don't enjoy. And it also gives them an opportunity to tell me what they like.
Wait, she's a teacher too? Okay, now we're getting into the is she a teacher? No, hold on. Let me hear this out before I go off, because I'm not understanding the context.
And so I guess use me as a guinea pig. Trial what you like and what you want to do. So when you go to the next person, you know exactly how to pleasure them and, you know, how to receive pleasure as well.
I know how many of you are probably going to defend this, but I need you not to defend this. This is weird. I'm sorry, but this is creepy. Oh, but Sydney, she's attractive. No! Billinger has been very vocal about her interest, so to speak, in barely legal teenage boys, to the extent that, in one interview, she said that she's done the devil's tango with hundreds of them.
I mean, how many 18-year-olds have you slept with?
Hundreds and hundreds now. It must be like 400, 300, 400. Okay, so it's no...
But, okay, here's the thing, though. They get interested when they're 17 or 16, and she starts grooming them through this content. She's a self-proclaimed teacher, so it's not as bad as I thought, but she's basically, yeah, she's spawn camping them. She's spawn camping them at age 17, 16, and then she's like, all right, boys, time to with me. It's like, bro, you're just nasty, man. Again, I think this is a symptom of nymphomania.
Secret, I have a hobby, which is pleasuring barely legal 18-year-olds.
With some students. You've been having lots of fun with the students.
I have indeed, all 122
students.
Of them.
I want to sleep with 130 barely legal 18-year-olds.
I'm going to be sleeping with...
Why does she always say that? Do you not think that you maybe sound like a freaking predator? I'm finding it hard not to gag.
23 barely legal 18-year-olds.
She's even made a point of going to events specifically designed for school leavers to celebrate graduation and going to university. Like,
and this is what I genuinely hate the most, is that a guy doing this, like, imagine a man says, yeah, I want to find barely 18-year-old schoolgirls and I want to have, coitus with them. I want to sleep with them so bad. Instantly, like, Twitter set on fire, national headlines, but this somehow flies under the radar because it's a hot, attractive woman. And even if it was a hot, attractive guy, I still think they would get an insane amount of shit for it. Even if it's an attractive, like, young man that's doing it, or like a 25-year-old man.
Freshers, which is basically the orientation week for first-year university students in the UK, where I think she claims to have done adult things with 122 young men.
And the most I want to take in one night is 25, but I'll let you into a little secret. I did 30 on the first day alone.
Oh my God.
So come and get me on my knees and let me celebrate you getting into uni, boys.
And
this is so gross. I actually had to hold back vomiting in my mouth. Oh my God, let me get on my knees and we can celebrate. It's like,
And schoolies in Australia, which is for newly graduated Year 12 students, and they basically go up to the Gold Coast and get drunk for a week, where Billinger was set to go before her Australian visa was cancelled because Australia don't play like that.
Adult content creator Bonnie Blue, who'd been off
W Australia, funnily enough, actually. They barred her from going.
Offering her services to, quote, barely legal schoolies has had her Australian visa cancelled.
It's worth noting, and actually now that I'm saying it, this is something important to realize through this whole video, but Billinger records these interactions with these young men and then uploads them to her OF account.
Social media has done irreparable damage to society.
But basically, so does everybody in this video. So there's that. Once she got booted from my homeland, Australia, she took her expedition over to Fiji, where she was also soon deported. And of course, produced some weird content with the Border Patrol agents, because of course she did. Although I'm actually not sure if these are real Border Patrol agents. To be quite honest with you, I don't really want to find out.
Okay.
They're not. It's staged. They wouldn't let her film like that. They tell her to fuck off.
We all know how much Fiji loved.
Bro, it's literally
with schoolies. And next up is
Stop!
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I have no idea what to make of this.
This is fake!
It's the guy at the end for me, really.
It's
yeah. Men, yeah. I do love you, but how we women are attracted to you as a sex is sometimes a mystery to me. Now,
but guys, I don't equate men to corn actors. My brain is not that rotted out of my fucking skull, okay? Yeah. Guys don't do that, okay?
I don't want to get into the weeds on how weird or not weird, or how predatory or not predatory it is to seek out young men like this, because I know that there are some of you who are going to be like, oh, this is every young man's dream. You guys largely—
And I hate people that say that. After I did the shoe on head video, like, I reacted to it about a man basically, well, not a man, I think that they were like barely 18 or they were 16. They said, oh, that's so hot. Like, I wish my teacher did that to me. And I'm like, you are such a freak for even typing that in my comments unironically. And then that guy kept fighting everyone in the comments section and saying I'm a prude. And I'm like, you're actually such a freak.
Know where I stand on this and how weird and creepy and icky I think it is, and how this woman is taking advantage of teenagers to advance her fame and fortune. And basically she's utilizing the ignorant and eager to, once again, advance her own ends through degeneracy. But the issue I want to focus on is how these women, Bonnie Blue, Lily Phillips, and so on, are doing more and more extreme and absurd acts in order to separate themselves on the oversaturated OF platform. Everyone loves a train wreck, and many people seemingly love to consume content of adult relations.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that anything for views unfortunately does work, because even bad publicity is good publicity.
This combines the two, and these women seem to know this. The tragedy is that, as OF continues to get more and more saturated, this behavior will inevitably turn up more and more, encouraging copycats and leading young women to believe that fame and fortune is possible, but only if they degrade and humiliate themselves in the most extreme ways. So that's what we're going to talk about today. The lie of this platform, but also the creepiness of some of the people who are participating on it, and all of the extreme and crazy ways that they attempt to separate themselves from other creators in an effort to get further ahead as it grows in popularity. And obviously
that's also happening with VTubing and every other general streaming platform, like social media desire, is that the more outrageous shit you say, the more attention you get, even if you don't mean it at all. It's kind of annoying because I don't get clipped by— oh, that was my thing. I don't really get like YouTube clipped because I don't do like horny bait posting, and I don't like intentional like licking my microphone or saying like outrageous shit for attention. Because it doesn't get clicks. Like, what I say doesn't really get clicks, to be honest. And that's fine. Like, I'm not mad or anything. It's just, it's not worthy of, like, social media points.
All of my regular disclaimers. This video is by no means exhaustive. I won't get to everything because there is a lot to this topic. Like a lot. So with all of that said, and before you once again board my hell gondola and together we sail down this weird river into this very uncomfortable and creepy topic, let's hear from today's sponsor, Incogni. Ever wondered why you get annoying spam calls and texts? Or why you get annoying letters and junk mail you never sign up for? I don't want to freak you out, but I'm going to freak you out. Because your private information really isn't all that private. Because there are data scrapers and data brokers who scour public records for information about people like you and me. They get your email, your phone number, address, full name, social security number, and so on. Then they compile that information and sell it. So if this concerns you as much as it concerns me, then let me tell you about the solution I use, Incogni. Incogni reaches out to data brokers on your behalf and requests the removal of your personal data from these sites. They will also deal with any objections and monitor your information to make sure it doesn't pop up on the same site or anywhere else. The process is very simple. You make your account, give Incogni the right to act on your behalf, and then sit back and let them work their magic. But Incogni isn't only for you, it also has a family and friends plan, meaning you can protect your loved ones. Incogni also comes risk-free for 30 days, so if you don't love it, you can get a full refund. So if you too want to fight the data brokers, then click the link in the description or go to incogni.com/Sydney. And don't forget to use code Sydney for 60% off an annual plan. In early November 2024, a former spicy creator called Nala Ray appeared on the internet show The Whatever Podcast.
I don't know if she'll touch on it, but this chick that's behind me, apparently she found God. That seems to happen a lot for some reason. I don't know. Something's happening.
Almost 2 hours into the episode, Nala was asked by a super chatter about an interest in cheating she purported to have when she was making mattress-based content. Nala responded by explaining that basically everything she said on podcasts and appearances was done with virality in mind during this time.
Yeah.
In order to
and I've seen it happen with VTubers when they go viral for a tweet and then they get really upset when people are like, hey, where's more of this content? And they're like, oh, well, I did it just for the clip. I've seen it with streamers and VTubers.
Push more and more people towards her content.
I am so happy we get to finally address this. So as a viral creator on, like when I was on about 8-9 months ago, I went on so many podcasts because I knew the only way to grow my own was to be viral, and it's such an oversaturated platform right now, and I've been on it for like 5.5 years. So everything I've said on podcasts is complete clickbait. I did it to go viral to then make money, and so many people believed it, and it worked. So that's what's so like crazy about the internet. And if you've heard it before, it's very true. The internet is not real. So like everything I've said, like, oh my god, I love cheating. Like, dude, I was so freaking dead single at the time. Like, who would I have cheated on, bro? I said whatever I needed to because I understand the male brain and I needed to make money, and I was like, bet.
This isn't the only time that Nala has expressed something like.
And then there's people who say that I don't believe in inequality and that I don't believe what I say because they see this shit on the internet. They see this shit on the internet and they equate it to me because I'm a woman. Eminem went silent after hearing her speak. It's sped up because of copyright, by the way. Just so we're clear, all of these clips taken are sped up because of copyright reasons. Just putting it out there.
Like this. On November 18, 2024, she went on a YouTube channel called Caru Ellington, once again, screwing up the names, where she again explained how she based her online personality off of virality.
So that podcast aired, and that was the first time I had been on the Whatever Podcast, but at that time I had this mindset. I was like, I need to go viral to make more money. How are people gonna know who I am or what my audience is if they don't know, like they haven't seen me, you know? So when I get on these platforms, I'm like, I'm going to rule this podcast. I'm going to rule whatever I'm doing. Like, I will take it over. So I went in there with this mindset of like control. And I was like, I'm going to get more money from this. And
again, it's a shrewd business decision, and it worked. She started acting and doing ahagao faces like Belle Delphine, and it made her stand out because Belle Delphine, first of all, she kind of fell off, right? But second of all, it's a recognizable theme or like way of making OF content. So it made her look and stand out. And that's ultimately smart. If you want money, you gotta stand out.
that's the whole purpose. Like, you want to make money. Yeah. Like, that's it. I want to get my bag, like as girls say now.
Sure. Not too long after, during another appearance on another YouTube channel called Lecrae, Nala explains that OF creators become puppets for their subscribers. And as her success on the platform grew, she became consumed with wanting to top her earnings month to month. She also talked about how her dad encouraged her to keep making this kind of content.
Sweetie, I gotta get the down payment for my mortgage. If you do this for another month, if you keep showing your butthole, sweetie, just do it for a little bit longer. Come on, man. Come on, I need to pay off my mortgage, please.
We actually don't have time to get into this at all, but woof. That's actually just another thing that I'm noticing here.
Yeah.
Maybe a topic for another video.
How long were you on?
5 years.
And how much money do you think you made in total?
Millions. Yep, thought so.
My first month on made 87 grand.
Oh my.
What?
Every month was like, how can I top last month? That was my
bro. Man, no wonder there's a lot of VTubers that started doing, that kind of content. It clearly pays, bro.
brain. Like, I fed off of that thought. You're a puppet.
God
You're
damn.
literally a pimped out puppet, and your pimps are your subscribers.
Woo! And your conscience not bothered at all?
I'd say it really started getting bothered when my family found out. My mom cut off contact with me. My dad.
Oh my god, no way. Again, you have to take what she says with a grain of salt because she literally just said that she lies and makes viral content. I don't know. I could believe it, but I also could believe that she's lying.
However, it was a very different story. My dad encouraged me to stay on.
Yes, I did steal this little intro from Lecrae's video because I liked it, and I liked how it was edited, and I liked the music. Don't yell at me. I know I just said I wouldn't talk about it, but I genuinely cannot wrap my head around someone's dad telling them to make this sort of content.
Yeah, because money talks. What if you're really, really broke and you really need to pay off a mortgage? What if you're in debt? You're essentially kind of pimping out your daughter, though.
I once tried to go out of the house in this very short, very skin-tight dress when I was about 18, and my dad saw it and was like, no, you will.
You know what? Me too, man. I went out with a skirt with no stockings underneath, and my dad got mad and told me to go put on stockings. You know, those really thick ones, not the sheer ones, chat. The other ones, the thick ones that are for winter. You can't see through them. They're just knitted. My dad freaked out and my mom was like, oh, I didn't know she was going out like that. She said she was putting on a skirt and stockings, and I didn't know that she was doing that. I was banned from shorts and skirts. Yeah, it's pretty common. Again, you want a daughter until you don't.
Change! That is what I consider to be a normal parental reaction. At the end of this interview, Lecrae asked what advice Nala has for other young women. She expresses that there is a steep price to pay with making this sort of content, something that is often glossed over by those in the industry.
Obviously I could just say don't, but it doesn't even give a depth to what you pay for in price. It's not just your soul, man. You pay for it in your thoughts. You pay for it in your body. You are a slave, and you don't even think you are.
And you want to know the funniest part is they hit a wall, as all women do, around about at age 30 to gracefully, I think you can probably keep doing OF until about 35 if you're playing your cards right and you take care of your body and your skin. You can probably play it up to 35 and then you fall off. You can't do it forever, man.
Now that I'm out of it completely, I'm like, I was literally hundreds of thousands of people's slaves.
Wow.
Like, that's what I felt like. That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
During it, didn't feel so bad. Didn't look at it like that. And during it, I was like, I'm the boss. I'm like, no, you're not. You're really not. So if you want to pay that price, like, that's your choice.
Yeah.
I'm not here to tell you to do whatever you want with your life, but like, you need to make the decision very carefully.
Yeah.
Because there is a price to pay, even though you're making money. Man, the devil can give you things.
As an aside, it is worth.
Yeah, but in 9 to 5, you're also slaving away for another person. Like, you're always, to some extent, like, unless you're completely self-employed, you're still kind of, like, slaving away for someone else. Almost always. How do Twitch streamers feel? Well, some people feel really, really pressured to keep streaming forever and doing constant content, because if they don't, then people will unsubscribe or stop watching them because they're not putting out as much content. But you're not putting your butthole on the internet, you're just putting out content. It's not that bad, Jesus.
Worth noting, and I probably have to say this, that Nala is a very controversial figure because very recently she reconnected with her faith and decided to stop making this sort of content. And people have deemed this a publicity stunt. This will come as a surprise to none of you, but I'm not.
But she did earlier say that she does things for virality. Yeah.
Personally particularly invested in whether or not she's being legitimate and truthful about reconnecting with her faith, but I will say, for those of you who are interested, that having watched now a ton of her interviews in order to make this video, I get the impression that what she is saying is truthful, and she seems to me to mean what she's saying. So, you know, do with that what you will. Now, Nala's point here that this platform is incredibly oversaturated and more creators are focusing on virality is actually correct. I've discussed the hard numbers of this in other videos, which I will link in the description box, but for the sake of brevity and just summarizing, the platform itself was started in 2016 and since then has become a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. I know, right? Shocking. As I've said in my
who would have guessed?
previous content before, it is outfitted with recruiters, covert sales tactics that often come in the form of women advertising how much money they've made on the platform.
It's a pyramid scheme. Again, there are so many people that post themselves making lots and lots of money, and then it turns out it's like a rental, or it's a rented car, or it's a rented handbag, or I don't know, they got a loan for making themselves look good. Yeah, it's totally like a thing. Like this has been a thing for forever, since like basically like the dawn of the internet.
Often come in the form of women advertising how much money they've made on the platform, and its pool of creators is only growing year on year. The sad reality, though, is that these women don't seem to realize that the vast majority of them won't make much money at all, with most bringing in somewhere between $150 to $180 a month. Depressing side note, this actually reminds me of a video that I saw the other day of a Pakistani PhD student who has announced that she is quitting her PhD to pursue being an OF creator. Full time. That's
yeah, okay. Yeah, she talks about her.
I've dropped out of my PhD. I've cried so much over this decision to quit my PhD, you know, because it's a stressful decision, not that I'm particularly sad about it. I'll get into all of that in a bit later, but moving on to doing and content creation full-time, it's not just a career choice, it feels kind of like a gamble on the direction of my entire life.
Anyway, this entire
I always thought that the people shitting on this chick for picking the easier path is only because they wish they could do the same thing. I don't know. There's not a lot of people out there. If they could have $1 million just from posting, like, I don't know, their dick and balls. If there was a guy, if the gender roles were reversed and women were the ones purchasing Oh, somehow, I think a lot of men in this chat even would probably do it.
Thing continues to be sold as a way of achieving financial freedom. But I think if we're being honest, the more and more that this goes on, the more that that's just not the case. The actual reality here is that the majority of women, and some men, will end up posting compromising images and videos of themselves that very few, if any, people will actually watch, but can be 100% used against them later on. So what does all of this mean? Not only for the women who are already doing well, but the women who want to do better. It means they need to tap into virality and more extreme behavior, and that's precisely what they're doing. Lily Phillips, a British mattress mounting creator that I mentioned earlier, recently went viral for doing the horizontal monster mash with 100 different men in 24 hours.
I also think she probably hired the guy that did the mini documentary as well. She definitely probably hired him and told him that she would give him a massive cut of the money from the documentary, because that also made her go giga viral. Like the whole segment of her like crying and stuff. I don't think she was faking it. I don't think she's an actor, and she did genuinely feel really bad afterwards, but I think there was a really funny part to the segment where the cameraman walked into the room where they were doing the deed, and he legitimately gagged. He was like, you can hear it audibly behind the camera. He's like, oh God. Oh.
This was of such great interest that Phillips found herself the subject of a documentary about the initiative, which was released only in the last month or so. Naturally, all of this has led to lots of speculation and commentary, most of which we won't be getting into because we don't have time. But rather than slowing down and basking in her newfound publicity, Phillips instead decided to go full throttle. She announced that her next—
And also keep in mind, chat, in the documentary, like I watched the whole thing just out of curiosity and for context, because I thought this was an over like exaggeration. The issue with what she's also doing is self-destructive. It seems like she's a nymphomaniac, and to top it off, they were struggling to find 100 dudes, and they were just taking anybody. At the end, when they said, oh, we're gonna check everyone for STDs, we're gonna check them for STIs, she started taking like anybody that she could find. Ew, really? Yes, really. Like, you can go watch it. It's not like super graphic or anything. It's just a, mini documentary that talks about this chick. But they also said like, oh, we're gonna have them tested, and like they have to have proof of them being clean, and we're gonna use contraception. And then they couldn't even find 100 people at the end. They had to like struggle and find it. It's like, ugh.
Exploit is to do the snake dance with a further 1,000 men in another 24-hour period in an attempt to break a world record.
And she's hurting herself in the process.
Guinness Book of World Records is really letting themselves go. This is why the men wanna put us in burkas.
I spent 14 consecutive hours getting ran through, and now I'm gonna be doing 24 because I'm gonna be going for the world record early February next year.
I'm not allowed to be concerned. Man, that's 42 per hour. How do you even do that? Like, you get one dip? You get like one dip every minute or something?
I'm gonna go for 1,000.
This is also being attempted by Bonnie Blue because of course it is. Interestingly, during an interview on the show The Reality Check in November, Phillips discussed both of these plans. At one point, the host asked her how much money she made from her planned 1,000 men experience. Phillips answers that the money doesn't come from the filming of the event itself necessarily, but all the virality that comes along with it.
The thing is, I'm not going to earn anything directly from the video. It's more...
You're not selling it?
Indirectly. No, because I don't really care to sell it. I was actually going to stream it. Because it's going to be so hard to sell it. You can't really...
Mad.
Unlike...
What are you talking about?
No, but unlike with you know, when doing the 101 guys, it's hard enough getting all the forms together, making sure they're all accepted by OnlyFans, stuff like that, the actual admin of it. So I was like, I was just going to stream it. It's more like the publicity around it that's going to get me the money.
Oh, right. She's talking about the legality of selling it because there's like a bunch of legalities to it. Yeah. Yeah, I understand what she's saying, but like, that's still so bad. Like anything for views, man.
The news and stuff.
Pardon?
Like in news articles?
Yeah. Just like it going a bit more like viral.
During this interview too, one of the hosts asks Phillips, that is really hard to say. One of the hosts poses a question to Phillips, suggesting that she might not feel so great about what she's doing now in the future. This, of course, reminded me of Nala and her comments about the regret and sadness surrounding this topic. Are you impressed?
And again, that's my argument, is that there's a lot of people that don't like my opinion of saying, like, for example, oh, your kids are gonna find out that you did this, and it's like, oh well, my kids can cry in a Lamborghini, at least they're not starving. And it's like, but you're making your children deal with the consequences of your actions, and then their counter argument to that is, well, it's society's fault. Well, and I'm like, okay, it's society's fault, but you're still doing it and making it worse for your kids that didn't do anything. Like, you can't change society overnight. Like, this has been, quote unquote, a stigma that you dislike for hundreds and thousands of years. Yeah, like, what are we talking about here?
We've come full circle. Now, obviously, you don't have to look very far at all to find even more mattress-dwelling ladies doing more and more psycho and extreme things for publicity's sake. I'm very sad inside at all the things I had to look at to make this video. I don't like it. There are just some things that should never go near some holes. And it's not like this is even a new phenomenon. Two women who you've all definitely heard about for their exploits are Amaranth and Belle Delphine, two pillow pounders.
They are so soft compared to what is, like, considered now virality. Genuinely, they're still crude businesswomen. Don't get me wrong, they made millions and millions of dollars, but yeah, compared to, like, now, 10 years ago, when Belle Delphine and Amaranth were, like, really, really popular, like, 8 years ago, what they're doing is kind of softballing,
so to speak, who have had their own massive amounts of publicity for some of their antics. Do you guys remember when Belle Delphine reportedly sold her bathwater and made a boatload of cash? Stop being led by your man pickle! But in its quest to stand out against the likes of behemoth accounts like the aforementioned, we've ended up with the likes of Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips, among others.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the bathwater thing is, like, so tame. Wait, I just remembered. There was a chick that landed herself in the hospital by farting into jars and selling it for money. Like, even that seems really tame in comparison to what Phillips is doing. The one that's plowing 1,000 men or 100 men or whatever.
To the Schoolies of Australia, I have one question for you. Tonight at Fabric Nightclub here in Surfers Paradise at 10 p.m. Congratulations on finally finishing high school. I can't wait to see you.
And if you're
kinda weird
doubting how successful these initiatives are, let me point you in the direction of an OF creator who makes spicy content with his—
Wait, this is actually so relevant to what we were talking about in that article. 99% of people in this chat are probably weirded out and grossed out by the fact that this girl is wanting to pork 18-year-olds. Isn't that, like, what we were talking about in the previous article, talking about how men have a stigma that women don't have, that porking a lot of women is, like, good for them? It's like, it's not, though. Like, most of society doesn't think it's healthy. 18 is legal, though? I'm aware it's legal, but it's still really freaking weird. It's gross. I still think in the corn industry that if you're barely 18 and you just turned 18 and you're hopping right into the sex industry, I don't think that's healthy. I think that's extremely weird, even if it's legal.
His dad. I haven't called on Scotty in a while to beam me up, but I suppose that now is as good a time as any. Scotty, please! At the time of this article, which was published 2 years ago, Jake Herbert reported that during his 2 years on the platform, he made between $10,000 and $12,000 a month. With the inclusion of his father, this skyrocketed to more than $38,000. Obviously, this isn't on the level of what some other people are doing, but it's still very creepy and weird. And obviously, for some reason, very lucrative. Is it too late for another plug? Is that out of the question? Okay, that one was real. Now, what probably doesn't get stated enough is that there really is a price to pay for all of this. Once again, I have already made content discussing OF regret on this channel, but I think what is on the horizon, what is coming down the pipeline, is going to be a lot worse than what we've already.
In the wise words of Bald Man Gold, we are probably reaching the pinnacle of where someone is going to die for content. Like, we are reaching the point of where we're going to have gladiatorial fights and someone's going to die and live stream it. Already happened? No, it has not happened yet. Like, full-blown, I signed my life away so that someone else can make content of it. Not like, oh, I hit someone with a car and they passed away. No, I'm talking about like literally dying on purpose. On purpose kind of thing.
Already seen.
No, you guys are adding me and fucking trying to correct me. No, I'm talking about quite literally signing your life away. Yeah, snuff videos, Alana. Yeah, what about those? No, that's illegal. I'm talking about like, signing it away legally for content.
Former OF mattress actress Riley Reid spoke out in early 2023 about her regret making this sort of content. She talks a lot about how it upended her life, destroyed her family, and has made her fearful for her future children. And although she doesn't really touch on it, I dare say there are mental and emotional scars here left from her time on the platform. Also, full disclosure, I don't know the extent to which Riley Reid went in her content. I don't know how extreme it all got, for obvious reasons, but I will say that if she's feeling this bad over what many people would consider to be pretty normal, spicy content, then I can't even imagine the fallout that is coming for the women who are doing the most extreme stuff right now. During the aforementioned Lily Phillips documentary, people pointed out—
But guys, remember, Alana, she could be on the street homeless. She could be on the street homeless or making not enough money or working at McDonald's. It's fine because her kids are going to have a warm place to stay. Yeah. Yeah, it's worth it, Tran. It's worth it.
Out a few key moments where Phillips cried after doing the squiggly wiggly with 100 men. Towards the end of the video, Phillips is visibly very upset. She tries to explain what the experience felt like, getting emotional, and almost comparing herself to a woman of the night, if you know what I mean.
It's not for the—
What do you mean compare? Why do we say But you are. It's the oldest profession in the world. Like, it happens everywhere. You just literally are. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean. What else are you then?
Week, girls. If I'm honest, it was hard. I don't know if I'd recommend it.
Why not?
I think if you're a different type of girl, it's very like, it's kind of like being a prostitute in a sense of like.
What do you mean? You're doing it for money and clout. It's interchangeable. Just because they didn't literally hand you money or swipe a credit card doesn't mean that you're not one. I'm sorry. I'm genuinely not trying to sound harsh or anything. It's just like, what the frick are you? A performance artist?
It's just a different feeling. I don't know how to explain it. Like,
it's not like just having sex with someone.
Yeah. Just one in, one out. Like, it feels intense.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
Oh, and oh my god. I hold on. I'll let her cook and see if she shows the rest clip.
Okay. After this, Phillips said that she felt robotic and disassociated during the experience.
Yeah.
I think sometimes like feeling so like robotic, like by the 30th, you know, like when we're getting on a bit, I've got like a routine of like how we're gonna do this, and like it just sometimes you'd like disassociate and be like, you know, like it's not like normal sex at all. In my head right now, I can think of like 5, 6 guys, 10 guys.
By the way, when you dissociate in such an act, it's supposed to be an intimate moment. It's almost like your soul leaves your body. Like you're just turning off your brain and just doing it.
I remember, and that's it. But it's just, I don't know, it's just weird, isn't it? Like, if I didn't have the videos, I wouldn't have known I've done 100, you know?
As many others have pointed out, this is viewed by some groups as empowerment, but in my opinion, and I know this is shared by lots of people, this is really anything but. Again, in my opinion, this amounts to self-harm. Disassociating.
Yeah, and also think about her hoo-ha after 100 guys. Like, doctors literally tell you not to overdo it because you don't produce enough and you can damage your hoo-ha.
Is not a good sign, and I'm sure there are some people who would even chalk this up to a trauma response where the brain is trying to protect itself from what is happening to the body. Phillips said in another interview that she kind of wishes that she didn't have a camera shoved in her face directly after she finished doing what she was doing with all those men, because she was obviously very raw and she said more or less what she was really thinking, but
oh no, the consequences of my actions. I hired an entire film crew to film me for this stunt, and now I'm upset. Yeah. I bet she was wrong. She's freaking raw, chat!
I think it's actually a good thing, because I think it demonstrates that this is not
because otherwise she would have had time to think about it and glorify it, in my opinion, I think. It's actually good that they filmed her and she decided to like put it online, because it does show the damage that she inflicted upon herself, and she probably regrets it. Which she does say. She literally said, I kind of regret it.
Happy person.
She's not mincing it.
This event, it was not a good thing. Like I said, to me, this feels like we're watching somebody self-destruct in real time. It's also no secret that the mental health implications of this kind of work are pretty grim. There is data out there that suggests women and men in this field go into it with significant mental illness, but leave with even more. And I anticipate.
Why are you analyzing her regrets? Adults make adult choices. Let's move on. Does this make you feel uncomfortable? I'm sorry, does this make you feel uncomfortable that she decided to post this online and people are criticizing her? That's crazy, man. It's sensationalism? No, it's not. We don't see this enough. It's not sensationalism. I disagree. You're allowed to have your opinion, but I don't think this is sensational. Sensationalism is seeing an OnlyFans girl make $1 million, chat, and posting it on social media and saying, "Oh my god, like I made $1 million, and you should do it too. If you're a young hot teen or a young hot woman, you should totally do this." I think this is not sensational. This is real journalism, if anything.
That's only going to get worse. There is also a conversation to be had about the culpability of the people who are subscribing to these individuals and paying them for what they are doing and egging them on and encouraging them and basically being an active participant in their self-destruction and all of
sure.
that fun stuff. But that is obviously a conversation for another day. But I do want to leave you all with some final thoughts here. People doing
I don't want thoughts.
extreme and crazy things for publicity is not remotely a new phenomenon.
No.
But with platforms like OF and with the rise and bettering of the internet, so to speak, we have definitely seen not only the oversaturation of specific kinds of content, but also the acceleration of specific kinds of content. And as I have mentioned,
well, we started off with pranks, and now we've moved on to literally risking our life for views and totaling cars and endangering people's lives and still continuing to post and make streams on the internet. Men and women are guilty of this as well, just different sides to the same coin.
So many times, because I am a broken record at this point, there's just no tangible benefit for the vast majority of people. And realistically, if one must become more and more and more and more extreme in order to maintain the existing subscribers but also encourage new ones to sign up, that is not a good sign. That is not good. If this is also becoming so normalized that insane people are even penning articles saying that they let their 16-year-old do things with Bonnie Blue, I think we've officially gone too far.
Why I'd happily let my 16-year-old son someone call CPS. That needs like an actual like you need to be checked on.
I think at the end of the day, we will have to eventually reckon
with... What do you mean, let your 16-year-old son? That's gotta be bait, bro. No way.
The very deceptive tactics used to get women onto this platform, and all of the many awful components that go along with this kind of content creation, the consumers, and so on and so forth. The evolution of this form of content can really only go in one direction, and I think because we've seen this platform become so normalized over the years, the fallout that is coming is going to be catastrophic.
I wonder what VTubers are going to do for anything for views. I wonder what that would be like, because VTubers are in their infancy, because it's also becoming slowly more and more oversaturated. What are we going to see in the future, chat?
Because in the end, while I believe that probably the majority of these women will inevitably leave this platform, stop making this kind of content, and try to lead normal lives, I do think that the trauma associated with parading their most intimate and extreme moments on the internet for all the world to see will be much, much harder to erase. Now,
I just thought of something. There would be a, like, Fansly or a Patreon stream. Actually, no, Patreon doesn't let you do that. But if you really think about it, there could be a VTuber that's probably going to be like, I'm going to invite my viewers to pork me live on stream. 10 million viewers, freaking $10,000 million per stream. Holy, oh my god, look at all those freaking, and I'm gonna have 100 viewers porking me. Yeah! Already happened? No, not with a VTuber.
On that very happy and pleasant note, and before I open the floor to
definitely
all
not
of
with
you,
a
this is
VTuber.
just a reminder to check out Incogni using the link in the description.
Oh my god.
I genuinely use this service. I love it. And if you are somebody who is actually concerned about your safety online, this is definitely worth checking out. Now, I open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? Is Bonnie Blue a weirdo for going after 18-year-old boys? Do you think this is in fact not a big deal and it's actually every young man's dream?
There was a VTuber who allegedly had sex with the subs. I know, but that's alleged. I need like actual evidence of it happening, like on stream. No, I don't want alleged chat. I don't give a fuck about that because that's not real. I want like actual like fancy stream or something.
Dream. Do you think that it's wrong, that it's right, that we should stop putting people like this on pedestals and talking about them and giving them airtime? What do you think of the Lily Phillips documentary? Do you think she was crying because she was having a trauma response? Do you think she was crying because she was exhausted after doing what she just did for 14 hours? What do you think of the man who makes OF content with his own father? Or the woman that I referenced at the end here who wrote the article saying that she would allow her son, her 16-year-old son, to do adult things with Bonnie Blue?
That's jail.
And what do you generally make of this issue overall? As always, if you have made it this far in the video, congratulations. I always like having you along for the full ride. If you are new here and you are not subscribed already and you would like to see more of me and more of this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel as well as leaving this video a like and a comment because I do read the majority of them. And of course, if I don't see you guys before the new year, stay safe and well, and of course, make good choices. And in the interim, I will see you wonderful, pretty people in the next video.
Bye! She called you pretty, chat. Wow! That was so good. Thank you so much, Sydney. Go check her out. Thank you, thank you. Another day of horrible existence, knowing that anything for views will come closer and closer to gladiatorial matches and people having sex in the street for views. Yeah. Ba-da-bum. The crying on camera is just another part of the campaign. I think some people really overestimate that these people are not professional actors, man. I genuinely think some people don't understand that. They're not, like, actors that can cry on command and talk about their feelings.